So this is how to do live trace and then also a little bit about the Pathfinder tool. So this is an image that I got off of iStock Photo. The way live trace works is it traces what it sees. So right now it's pixels. So this is pixel based stuff. You can see all the little squares of color. And I know I mentioned it before, but how we work with this tool is up here it says image trace. So I'm going to click it and it's going to do its thing. There's different options that you can work with too to make it trace it in a different ways. Some ways they look a little bit better than others, so you can change how they look, or also considering some of your tracing results and how you want it to show. But this is just the default. So I've done that, and now I need to click expand, and what it does is it converts it to vector illustration that is filled with fills and such. So I'm going to take it and move it over to the gray area so you can see what it's actually done. If I use the black arrow, it selects everything. If I use the white arrow, it'll select those certain fills. So I'm just hitting delete, selecting it, deleting, and so forth. And I can continue to go through here and get rid of the color that I don't want. Another way to deal with it would be to just select everything and then just kind of in reverse with the white arrow, I'm going to click on the areas that I want to keep. So right now I have all this selected, which is the black is deselected and the white is selected. So if I hit delete, it'll just it'll delete all of the white. So now what I'm left with is just a vector illustration. So that was actually really, really fast. And of course I can work with all the vectors, the whole thing, see all the anchor points that it created for me. But in the terms of the way it works with the engraver is everything that, in this case, that is black is going to be engraved, and then we need red to go around it. We need an outline. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do a couple of things, but first let me just briefly explain the Pathfinder tool. So if you go to Window Pathfinder, that tool looks like this, and the way it works is this. If I have a shape and I have another shape, and I want to just simply draw with shapes and not use the pen tool, if I select both of them, let me flip them over so you can see. You see that the lines go here. The first one is used to unite shapes. So this will combine it into one. So notice that where they intersect is now gone. The next one is it will subtract one from the other. So now it's omitted a portion of where they intersected. This one keeps where they intersect. And then this one keeps everywhere except where they aren't, which if I flip it over, you'll see that it actually puts a hole in it that way. So this is a really cool tool, and I use Pathfinder a lot. And in this case, we'll use Pathfinder to work on this as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this element, I'm going to go up to Object, Path, and I'm going to do an offset path. And what that does is it puts kind of like a stroke outline beyond what we see out here. And I'm just going to look at it and choose an offset. So here's what the original is right here, and then this is the offset. So it's making it bigger. And what I think, I'm just trying to get a red line around the whole thing. So 4 points looks good to me. I'll say okay. And then now that I have this, I want to unify all the stuff that's in here. So I'm going to use the Pathfinder. You'll notice that these will all just come together. So I have the Pathfinder there, and I'm moving it over. And really what I want is I want it in red. So I need a red stroke to go around it. And I don't want all these other elements. I just want to select just the exterior line. So this is all being grouped. So I'm going to double click and double click until I just get that exterior line. So now I can cut it out of the group. And then I can come back out and paste it in place. So now I have it by itself. And I also can get rid of all this other stuff if I want by just simply selecting it and deleting it. So I know I'm showing you guys actually really about 3 different things. I'm showing you how to live trace. I'm showing you how to, in this case right now, was create an offset path. But I'm also showing you a little bit about the Pathfinder tool. And so as we recall from other projects, for the laser engraver, we need this stroke to be 0.001 points. So it's a very thin line. So I'm going to just drag all this back to the canvas so you can see what it looks like. And now it's set up to go to run a job on the engraver. So there's our cut. Everything here is all our engraving. And then lastly, we want to do a little reality check. How big should this item be? So if I use the rectangle tool, I can make 1 inch by 1 inch, so I have an idea. That's how big 1 inch by 1 inch is. So I could now just take what I have here and then holding the shift key and scaling it down to the appropriate size. So that looks pretty good. Let me zoom in on it. Now it's ready to print at the right size as well. And then the last thing I'll need, probably in this case, is a way to put a jump ring in it. So whether that means I have a hole, and again, this is a cut, so it needs to be red, somewhere in here. So it's going to hang from there or from somewhere else. Would be a matter of how we want to consider hanging this element. So that's that.